Hello everyone and welcome. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation. We'll be exploring Mega Goal 1.1, focusing on Unit 5. The theme is Did You Hurt Yourself? And we'll be looking at language and context along with some practical conversations. Over the course of this session, we'll cover key vocabulary, useful expressions, and how to apply them in real-life situations. I look forward to sharing this engaging content with you. Let's get started. All right, let's look at the key points on this slide. First, we see the numbers 3, 2, and 1, which represent the order of our lesson objectives. Our main goal here is to learn how to listen carefully for specific information and understand real talk phrases in conversations. This will help us improve our listening skills and become more confident in understanding everyday speech. Next, we want to focus on using what we learn by matching words with their suitable pictures. This helps reinforce vocabulary and makes the learning process more visual and engaging. Finally, the overall lesson objectives are designed to help you communicate more effectively, especially in real-life situations. Remember, paying attention to these points will help you achieve better comprehension and more natural conversations. Have you ever faced or heard about household dangers? It's a common experience for many of us, and it's important to recognize just how easily accidents can happen at home. Today, I want to start by sharing a few examples, things like slips, falls, or even accidental poisonings. These dangers might seem minor, but they can have serious consequences if we're not careful. By understanding what these risks are, we can better protect ourselves and our loved ones. This ties into our overall goal of creating safer home environments and preventing accidents before they happen. So, as we go through this presentation, keep in mind how awareness and simple precautions can make a big difference. On this slide, we see a variety of common injuries that can happen in everyday life. First, we have a picture of someone who cut their finger. This kind of injury is usually minor, but reminds us to be careful with sharp objects. Next, there's an image of a person who sprained their ankle, which often occurs during sports or uneven surfaces. It's important to know how to properly manage a sprain to prevent further damage. Then, we see someone poking their eye, illustrating how easily eye injuries can happen and the need for quick, careful action if this occurs. The fourth picture shows a hand that's been burned, highlighting the importance of safety precautions around hot surfaces or liquids. Following that, there's an image of a person with a broken nose, which can happen from accidents or falls, and it often requires medical attention. Lastly, we see someone with a fractured arm, emphasizing that fractures are serious injuries that typically need professional treatment. These images collectively help us understand the variety of injuries we might encounter and underscore the importance of safety and prompt care in managing them. Let's take a moment to read aloud the items in this chart. First, we have the importance of clear communication. Next, the need for strong teamwork. Then, the value of adaptability in changing environments. Following that, the significance of continuous learning. Moving on, the emphasis on innovation and creativity. And finally, the focus on accountability and responsibility. These key points are central to our overall theme of building a resilient and effective organization. Each of these elements plays a vital role in helping us achieve our goals and stay ahead in a competitive landscape. Remember, integrating these principles into our daily practices will make a meaningful difference. Today, I want to talk about consonant clusters. These are situations where you have two or more consonants together in a word. It might seem simple, but they can actually be tricky for pronunciation. Think of words like strange or plants. In these words, you can hear multiple consonants stacked together. The key point here is that these clusters are common in English, and understanding how to pronounce them smoothly is crucial for clear communication. When you see consonant clusters, it's important to practice blending those sounds quickly and accurately. By mastering consonant clusters, you'll improve your overall pronunciation and sound more natural when speaking. Remember, they connect to the larger theme of pronunciation because they often challenge new learners, but with practice, they become much easier. So pay attention to these clusters, practice saying them slowly at first, and then gradually increase your speed. So, what can you see in the picture? Take a moment to observe the details. Notice the various elements and how they interact. This image is a great way to engage your visual senses and start thinking about the bigger picture. As we discuss this, keep in mind how visuals like this help us understand complex concepts more clearly. It's about connecting what we see with the ideas we've been exploring throughout this presentation. This slide encourages us to look closely and interpret what's in front of us, which is essential for grasping the core message we want to convey. So, what do you think they are talking about here? We have Samir and Jason, two speakers who are probably sharing their thoughts or experiences. The slide asks us to listen carefully and read along, so let's do that. The focus is on accidents, which can cover a wide range of incidents. It's important to understand what causes accidents, how they can be prevented, and what lessons we can learn from them. As we go through this part, keep in mind that understanding these points is key to improving safety and reducing risks. Now, let's listen closely and follow along with the conversation to grasp the key ideas being shared. So let's explore what caused Jassim to lose his balance and end up hitting a tree. It was actually a combination of factors, including unexpected terrain and perhaps a moment of inattention. These kinds of incidents remind us how quickly control can be lost if we're not fully focused. Next, where was Jason cycling? He was on a rural trail, which was quite narrow and uneven. This type of terrain can be tricky even for experienced riders, and it plays a crucial role in understanding the overall safety considerations we need to keep in mind. Now, what saved Samir's life? It was a combination of his protective gear and quick reflexes. His helmet and pads absorbed the impact, and his ability to react swiftly prevented more serious injuries. It highlights the importance of proper safety equipment and staying alert while riding. What happened to Samir's motorcycle? Unfortunately, it was badly damaged, which shows how severe the crash was. The impact was strong enough to cause significant damage, serving as a reminder of how unpredictable accidents can be and why caution is essential. Finally, what happened to Jason first? Well, he was the initial rider involved, and his fall was the first in this sequence of events. His experience underscores how initial accidents can cascade into larger incidents if other riders aren't prepared or aware. All these points tie back to our main theme: staying vigilant, equipped, and aware of our surroundings to prevent accidents and protect ourselves and others on the road. Who says it was your lucky day? Well, sometimes luck plays a role, but more often than not, it's about recognizing opportunities and being prepared to seize them. This slide highlights the importance of mindset and readiness, understanding that what might seem like luck is often the result of effort, timing, and awareness. It ties back to our overall theme of proactive engagement and strategic thinking. So next time you feel fortunate, consider what factors contributed to that moment, your actions, your preparation, and leverage that mindset to create more of those lucky moments. Who says, stuck in a wheelchair? You know, there's this common misconception that being in a wheelchair means someone is limited or less capable. But that's not true at all. A wheelchair is just a tool, a means to help someone move around and live their life fully. It doesn't define their abilities, their intelligence, or their potential. And that's a really important point to remember as we look at inclusion and accessibility. Because often, society underestimates what people with mobility challenges can achieve. So, when we challenge these stereotypes, we open the door to greater understanding and support. And that's ultimately what this presentation is all about: breaking down barriers and recognizing everyone's value. Who says we can't look at things from a different perspective? Look at it this way: sometimes, changing how we view a situation can really open up new possibilities. It's about challenging assumptions and asking, what if? By doing so, we can uncover solutions that weren't obvious at first glance. This approach is crucial because it helps us think creatively and stay adaptable in our strategies. Remember, the key is to stay open-minded and willing to see things from other angles. which ultimately connects back to the overall theme of innovation and growth. So don't be afraid to ask, who says, and explore new ways of thinking. Let's take a moment to read the words on the slide and understand their meanings. This step is crucial because it helps us grasp the key concepts we're working with. As we go through these terms, think about how they connect to the overall theme of effective communication and understanding. Remember, mastering these words and their meanings will enhance your ability to interpret information accurately and convey your ideas clearly. So let's focus on each word, ensure we understand it fully, and see how it fits into the bigger picture of our presentation. All right, let's take a closer look at this slide. You'll notice the phrase, "What did he say?" at the top. This question sets the stage for understanding how communication can sometimes be misinterpreted or even misunderstood. Now, moving to the next lines, we see variations of the phrase, starting with, "No, today's your lucky day," then, "No, today is your lucky day," and finally, "Now, today's your lucky day." Each version highlights different ways people might say the same thing, but with subtle differences in tone or emphasis. The key point here is that the way we phrase things can significantly impact how our message is received. For example, the addition of today's versus today is can change the flow and clarity of the message. And the shift from no to now can alter the tone, making it feel more immediate or more casual. Connecting this back to our overall theme, it underscores the importance of precise communication. Whether you're delivering a message in a professional setting or everyday conversation, the way you say something can make all the difference in how it's understood. So, the main takeaway is to be mindful of your phrasing. Small changes can lead to clearer, more effective communication and help avoid misunderstandings. What did it say? Well, look at it this way. Will, look at it this way. Well, look at it this way. Sometimes, when we're trying to interpret information or understand a situation, it's helpful to shift our perspective. By examining things from different angles, we can uncover new insights or clarify confusion. The key point here is to stay flexible in our thinking and be open to alternative interpretations. This approach not only helps us grasp the message more effectively, but also aligns with the overall theme of critical thinking and adaptability in our work. So, remember, when in doubt, try looking at it from different perspectives. Sometimes, that's the best way to see the full picture. So let's take a closer look at these different ways people express feeling stuck. When someone asks, "What did he say?" it shows curiosity or maybe confusion about what was communicated. Then, we see phrases like "I'm stuck in there" and "I am stuck in here." These are common ways to describe feeling trapped or unable to move forward in a situation. But notice the variation with "I'm stuck in there." That's actually a non-standard form, which highlights how language can sometimes be informal or even incorrect, yet still understood in everyday conversation. This slide really underscores the importance of understanding both the literal and the colloquial ways people express their feelings of being stuck. It ties into our overall theme of how language reflects our emotional states and how we communicate those states to others. Recognizing these patterns can help us better interpret conversations and respond more empathetically. So on this slide, we're really focusing on understanding what someone might say in uncertain situations. You see the phrases, "What did he say?" and then a few variations like "I guesses," "I guess," and "I'm guess." These reflect common ways people express uncertainty or hesitation in conversation. The key point here is how language evolves in real-time communication. People often use these kinds of phrases when they're not entirely sure about what they heard or when they're trying to be polite or cautious. This relates to our overall theme of language use and comprehension, understanding not just the words, but the confidence and intent behind them. Recognizing these subtle cues can help us better interpret conversations, especially in informal settings. So when someone says, "I guess," or "I'm guess," it signals uncertainty. And as listeners or communicators, being aware of that helps us gauge how much confidence they have in what they're saying. It's a small but powerful insight into how language functions in everyday interactions. So on this slide, I want to highlight how accidents can happen even when we're being careful. Samir's motorcycle skidded on a patch of oil, which is a common hazard on the road, and unfortunately, he crashed into a car. But the good news is, he was wearing a helmet, and that probably saved his life. This shows how important safety gear is when riding bikes or motorcycles. Now, moving over to Jason's story, he was cycling in the park, enjoying a nice day. But then, a squirrel suddenly ran in front of him, and to avoid it, he swerved quickly. That quick move caused him to hit a tree. It's a reminder that even small animals or unexpected obstacles can lead to accidents if we're not paying attention. Jason feels sorry for Samir because he knows that Samir is going to be stuck in a wheelchair for a while. It's a tough situation, but it also teaches us the importance of being cautious to prevent injuries. And finally, Jason mentions that with 2 casts, he has enough room for all his friends to write their names on his casts. It's a fun way to stay positive about a tough situation, and it highlights how friends can support us during recovery. Overall, these stories connect to our main message about safety and the importance of being alert to avoid accidents and injuries. All right, let's wrap things up with our final slide. Here, we've got the workbook exercise on page 268. This is a great opportunity to apply what we've learned today. I encourage you to review the exercise carefully and think about how the concepts we've discussed fit into your own work or studies. Remember, doing these exercises helps reinforce your understanding and makes the material stick. And of course, don't forget about the homework assignment related to this content. It's designed to deepen your grasp and give you practical experience. So, take some time to complete these tasks thoughtfully. Keep in mind, mastering this material is all about connecting the dots, and consistent practice is key. Thanks for your attention, and I look forward to seeing how you apply these ideas moving forward.